Today we're speaking with Succentor of the Cathedral, Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, Joe Williams. Every time I hear anybody who comes from Oklahoma who's in the church, everybody knows you. And they're like, you're so lucky to have Joe Williams at Grace Cathedral.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, we're very, very, very blessed to have you. I wonder if you can talk a little bit about just like what your childhood recollections of faith are.
Absolutely. I was actually baptized a Methodist, but then I started going to church with my granny, who I talk about all the time. And she was a Disciples of Christ member. Her family was Mennonite, actually.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, I used to go to church with her all the time. And then my godparents moved back. They were in the military. They moved back from Japan. And I started going to church with them afterwards, and they were Roman Catholic. So I kind of made the switch over to liturgical traditions.
Yeah, it must have been interesting just to see so many different forms of church.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as a child, I basically went to my grandfather's church, and that was it.
Yeah, well, I had a really good selection of churches in town. You know, small towns in Oklahoma, there's usually several churches to choose from. So we sampled them all.
Yeah, that's really good. And what's one memory of just like a moment when you felt a connection to holiness when you were a kid?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. But I think one of them was really helping out with Vacation Bible School when I was just a kid myself. I used to go in, we would make these creative sets, and we would play out these stories from the Bible, you know, and everybody kind of tried to outdo each other with it. So we had the fiery furnace and Daniel. Like it was really fun.
I was just to add this image of Noah's flood and
Yeah.
the ark in the background.
Yeah, we had one fiery furnace. We were obviously doing Daniel then.
Shadrach,
Meshach, and
Abednego.
and the handwriting on the wall.
Oh,
And,
right.
people were really, really creative with those. So that was a lot of fun.
That's great. And then you had a career that was outside the church. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I started out in journalism, so I worked for the Tulsa World for a while, and kind of made the switch over into nonprofit communications. And communications and development, those departments sometimes go hand in hand, so I got into fundraising more. So I worked for HIV/AIDS nonprofits. I did hospice work for a while, and then my last job was with adults with developmental disabilities.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. I mean, I think of your sermons, there's like nothing ever left out of them. They're just like just the right things that are in place. You know, I hadn't thought of them as the work of a journalist before, but I can see that now that you mention it. Were there particular preachers that you experienced through your life that were influential for you?
I had so many. Again, there were some Roman priests that were really good with kind of Lectio Divina, like in their sermons. So like it was a small Roman church in my hometown. So 15 people in there, and basically the sermon would just be a meditation on the readings for the day. So those were really interesting for me.
Yeah. How did you get the idea that you were going to first become a priest? How did that?
I started out in the Roman tradition, and that didn't work out so well. So I was kind of unchurched for a while.
Yeah.
And then I got back into the swing of things, going back to church, several years before seminary, and just found the Episcopal Church and loved it. I started serving at the altar again, and then
that's
just
great.
it
So
all
like
just
like a cupbearer.
Yeah, and so it just all came back to me, and I thought, well, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh, I'm just so grateful for whoever invited you, brought you back.
too.
You so much of your identity is so connected to Oklahoma as a region. Maybe you can talk a little bit about just what makes that place so special to you.
It's where all of my family's from. I'm a sixth generation Oklahoman. I'm also Native. I'm a member of the Choctaw Nation, and so even though we were Native, my grandparents didn't really talk about it that much. They were forbidden from learning the language or learning any of their culture and things.
That's exactly how Heidi's family's lined up. Her mother's like really into like Hawaiian Renaissance. Her grandparents were just like didn't have Hawaiian names, didn't speak Hawaiian.
Nothing. So
their great grandparents were fully spoke Hawaiian, not natively.
Yeah, my great grandfather, I believe, was a circuit rider preacher for little Choctaw churches around it. He would preach in Choctaw.
Yeah.
So we've lost all of that. So I'm really enjoying kind of reconnecting with that heritage.
Yeah. What does that mean in terms of the heritage? Does it mean like attending certain events?
I've done a little bit of language study.
Oh, great.
I'm still kind of learning about that, and just really the traditions that were kind of colonized, later on in the 19th century. So kind of learning what was before colonization, what you can gather from the history.
Yeah, yeah. How does that influence your spirituality and just kind of your goals too as a Choctaw person?
Choctaws, we have a philosophy of living, and it's kind of not living, but one particular philosophy that's called Iwikoa, and it literally means broken foot. And so the theory behind that is if someone in the tribe has a broken foot, then they can't take care of themselves. They can't get food, they can't take care of their family. So everybody comes together and takes care of them until they're well again and make sure that they're well, and then they can go back and be a member of the community. So I like to kind of think about me being a member of a community and how I can help when others need it.
Yeah, well, I love that about you. I just feel like you're constantly rolling up your sleeves to help wherever we need it. And it's funny because now that you say it, I hope that, it's hard for us to learn how to be that person with a broken foot. And
Yeah.
we always are too.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that you let this community love you and care for you too.
I absolutely will. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, we're so blessed to have you. What are your dreams for the future? What do you hope happens in your ministry?
I'm just kind of playing it by ear right now. I love it here so much, and I'm figuring out, as a newly ordained person, I'm still figuring out, besides liturgy and things, like what I really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So being here allows me to explore those different avenues and see what I'm good at and what I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're so grateful for everything you do, Joe, and I'm just excited about seeing how things unfold for you too.
Thank you.
And I'm the same way. Grace Cathedral is such a wonderful place right at this moment. I can't imagine anything beyond it.
I know. I'm so lucky to be here.
Yeah, I feel the same way. We're Joe Williams, Malcolm Young. Thanks for watching More Good News.